Hello and welcome to Unit 5. So this unit is going to build off of what you did in Unit 4, where you started learning about nutritional guidelines, how different sources of vitamins and nutrients can help aid in all different types of development in children. And so that unit really was the foundation for getting into Unit 5, where the majority of what you're going to be doing is your menu plan. So as we're starting to look at Unit 5 and we're talking about feeding young children, planning and serving nutritious meals to them, it's going to be really important that you read the chapters in the textbook to make sure that you are aware of what needs to be in a developmentally appropriate menu. And there are some resources that I've provided for you. So when you look at the Unit 5 folder, you're going to find, again, a cute little video, and then you're going to see that in this unit there are 2 weeks to it. This first week, you're going to be looking at chapters 15 and 16, and again, the majority of what you're going to be doing is the menu plan. You will notice that in this week there is no discussion board for you because I really want you to take the time to get started on this menu plan so that you can go ahead and knock it out of the way. As always, you can always turn in assignments early. That actually helps me out a lot as we get close to the end of the semester. And then in the second week of the unit, we're going to be going into chapter 17, and there is a discussion board posting for you. So remember, as I've done with all of the other units, as long as everything that's in here, the discussion board is done by the end of the unit, then you're fine. The only thing, the observation is due at the end of this week. So make sure that does get submitted. The link will close on Monday at midnight. So just make sure that you've gotten that in. Many of you have already submitted it, and I've been trying to keep up with the grading so that I can continue to keep up with it as we get close to the end of the semester. So in week 7, where we're looking at feeding young children, that's chapters 15 and 16. And then week 8, planning and serving nutritious and economical meals. This is chapter 17 in your textbook. And again, I would make sure that you've gone through all of these chapters before you start your menu plan. But I put all of the menu plan assignments and everything in the week 7 folder. So when you click on assignments, assessments, you're going to see the folder for the 4-week menu plan. So when you go in here, you're going to find the instructions as well as the grading rubric, so you know exactly what I'm looking for. Just a disclaimer that you have to make sure that this is something you have created on your own. You didn't find it anywhere else, because the whole point of this assignment is to make sure that you know how to create a menu. If you go into a center and you are responsible for providing breakfast, lunch, and a snack, you need to know what are the nutritional guidelines for this age group. What should they be served at these different times? What are the amounts that they're going to need? So it's not about finding one, it's about creating a menu. So I do have this assignment set up to run through the plagiarism software that we have. Not that I have ever run into that, but again, I just want to really stress that this has to be something you create. Now there is a template, and I'm going to show you that in just a minute as I go over the instructions. This is a great example of a menu, but remember, you can't copy it. Another great resource. One of the things you are going to have to do is you're going to have to put in some kind of substitute for a common allergy, whether it's milk, nuts, dairy, fruit. So here is a good website that can give you some alternatives to some of the common allergens that children may have. So when we go to the menu instructions, I already have it open because I wanted to highlight a couple of things. So you are going to be creating a 4-week menu, and in each week you're going to have a breakfast, a snack, and a lunch. The grid already has that in there for you, so you don't have to worry that you don't have the right information in there. So again, 4 weeks, Monday through Friday. Chapter 17 is going to be really, really helpful for you. So that's why I said I would review those chapters before attempting your menu plan. But here's a few things to keep in mind. Make sure that you are not repeating meals. Now, you can have them in different weeks, but each week you want children to have a variety. If they see the same thing over and over again, they're going to get tired of it. And so we just want to make sure that we have a variety. So I don't want to see repeated meals in the same week. At least one meal needs to be non-meat. Still a protein, but non-meat. So remember, there's lots of different sources of protein, including eggs. So make sure that when you put your non-meat meal in there, that you indicate this is your non-meat for that particular week. Include accommodations for at least one common allergy, and make sure that somewhere on your menu plan you have told me what you are accommodating for. So whether you want to put it actually in the grid, if you want to put something at the top or at the bottom that says, you know, soy milk will be available for children with milk allergies. The big thing that I really want to stress about this is that it just needs to be, you need to indicate everything on your menu. So I can see that you understood the importance of a non-meat, of having an allergy accommodation, of having the food groups, which are down here. Again, make sure all necessary food groups are correctly identified and represented at all meals. And if you look here, pages 429 and 432, they even give you some of these minimum guidelines. If you're going to have something such as a salad, a fruit cocktail, a soup, make sure that you list what the ingredients are, because we want to make sure that, again, we're meeting those nutritional guidelines. So when you look at the grid, this is what it looks like. So it's not overly complicated. You can type directly into it, but you're going to see that in each week we have, here's our breakfast, here's our snack, here's our lunch. So you just type directly into the grid everything that's going to be available to children. And I will say, for those of you who watch the videos, if you include the amounts of food, such as 1/2 a cup of fruit or 1 cup of milk, it will be worth 5 extra credit points onto your grade for this particular assignment. Probably the best thing to do once you have read the chapters is to go to a reputable website, such as, you know, FDA, Choose My Plate, which you've already looked at, to be able to find out what are the nutritional guidelines for the particular age group that you're going to be working with. So your menu is going to be age specific. I would definitely somewhere on your menu tell me what age group this is for, because we all know that the nutritional requirements for a 2-year-old are very different than they are for a 7-year-old. So you're going to want to find what should children of that age be having at their different meals. So once you have that information, then you can start getting creative about what you want them to have for breakfast, lunch, and a snack. So again, have fun with it. It's not something that I want to be really stressful for you, but a lot of times teachers haven't had the experience of figuring out what should my children be eating in my classroom, because most centers provide the meals for the children. Normally, the only time that I've seen that children are bringing in their own is in half-day programs, because they're only having one snack. They're only there from 9 to 12, so they're not having breakfast and they're not having lunch. But for most centers that are open 8 hours, 12 hours, they are going to be providing the meals. And so it's important to know that I need to have a variety. I need to be aware of the different allergy accommodations that are out there. And you would be surprised at what children are allergic to. I have heard of children who are allergic to red food dye, which means that they can't have like the fruit roll-ups, which aren't healthy anyways, but anything that has that red food dye in it would cause a child to have a reaction. So really spend the time getting the research and the information needed to be able to put it all together, and then just start playing around with it. So I do hope that this is something you're going to find really practical. It's not due for a couple of weeks, so it's not something that you've got to rush to finish. really spend that time to get the good foundation for creating this particular menu plan. So that really is the crux of what we're going to be doing in Unit 5. Again, the discussion board is actually going to be found in the Week 8 link in the Unit 5, but you can certainly start on it early. As long as it's done by the end of the unit, then you're going to be fine. So anyways, like I said, Unit 4 was meant to be a foundation for Unit 5, and then when we get into Unit 6, which is our final unit, we're kind of taking it to another level about how can we make sure that we know how to help children by developing some type of instruction that's going to help them with health, safety, and nutrition, as well as how can we be informational to parents as well. So have fun with the menu plan. Please don't hesitate to contact me with any questions that you may have. We only have a few weeks left, so finish strong, keep up the great work, and I will see you again in our final unit.